The rain began at exactly 907 p.m. Detective Clara Voss remembered the time because the first thunderclap shook the windows of Blackwood Manor, so hard that every glass in the dining room trembled. Across the table sat 6 people. All of them were silent. And upstairs, behind a locked study door, the famous mystery novelist Arthur Bell was dead. He had been found on the floor beside his writing desk, one hand still gripping a fountain pen, his white shirt stained dark red. The strange thing was not that Arthur Bell had enemies. The strange thing was that everyone in the house had a reason to want him dead. His nephew Daniel owed him money. His publisher, Mr. Reed, had been threatened with a ruined contract. His ex-wife, Evelyn, had been cut out of his new will. His housekeeper, Mrs. Hale, had served him for 20 years and knew every secret in the manor. And then there was Anna Miles, Arthur's quiet assistant. She was the one who found the body. She was also the only person with a key to the study. Everyone believed she was guilty. Everyone except Detective Voss. Anna sat at the end of the dining table, shaking so badly she could barely hold her cup. "I didn't kill him," she whispered. Daniel laughed bitterly. "Of course you didn't. You just happened to find him dead in a locked room, with your key in your pocket." Anna looked at him with red eyes. "I was in the library. I heard a crash. I ran upstairs and opened the locked door, Mr. Reed said. "Yes." "With your key?" "Yes." Detective Voss watched Anna carefully. Fear could be acted. Tears could be forced. But confusion was harder to fake. Anna did not look like a murderer caught in a lie. She looked like someone who had walked into a trap. Detective Voss turned to the others. "Tell me what happened before the body was found." Mrs. Hale spoke first. Dinner ended at 9. Mr. Bell said he was going to his study to finish a chapter. He told everyone not to disturb him. And after that, the storm grew worse, she said. "We all stayed downstairs. All of you?" "For a while," Mrs. Hale answered. That hesitation mattered. Detective Voss looked around the table. Daniel leaned back. "I went to the wine cellar at about 9:10. Ask anyone." The lights flickered and I wanted another bottle. Evelyn folded her arms. "I was in the sitting room." Mr. Reed adjusted his glasses. "I took a phone call near the front hall." "And Anna?" the detective asked. Anna swallowed. "I was in the library organizing Mr. Bell's notes. He wanted them ready by morning." Detective Voss nodded. "And when did you find the body?" "About 9:30. I heard something fall upstairs. I thought Mr. Bell had knocked over a chair." She closed her eyes. "When I opened the door, he was already dead. The study door had been locked from the inside. At least that was what everyone said. The key was in Anna's pocket. The windows were closed. No one had seen anyone enter or leave. It was the perfect locked room murder. Too perfect." Detective Voss went upstairs. The study smelled of ink, old paper, and something metallic. Blood. Arthur Bell lay exactly where he had fallen. The police doctor had already covered him with a sheet, but the room still felt occupied, as if the dead man's final thought had remained behind. On the desk sat a half-written page. Detective Voss read the last line. The killer was the one person nobody suspected. She almost smiled. Of course he would write that. On the floor near the desk was a broken glass. A chair had been knocked sideways. One window curtain was slightly torn. And on the carpet, near the bookshelf, was a small, muddy footprint. Not large, not a man's shoe, not a woman's heel, a child's size perhaps. But there were no children in the house. Detective Voss crouched closer. The mud was still damp. She stood and walked to the window. It was locked, but the window led to a narrow stone ledge outside. Dangerous, but possible. When she looked down, she saw the garden below, drowned in rain. Then she saw something else. A ladder, half hidden behind a hedge. Detective Voss returned downstairs. "Who used the garden ladder today?" No one answered. Mrs. Hale frowned. "The gardener used it this afternoon, I think." "There is no gardener here tonight?" "No." Detective Voss looked at Daniel. His shoes were polished and dry. Mr. Reed's were also dry. Evelyn wore soft slippers. Anna's shoes were wet at the edges. Everyone noticed. Daniel pointed at her. "There." She went outside. Anna shook her head quickly. "I didn't. I stepped in water near the kitchen. The floor was wet." "Convenient," Daniel said. Detective Voss said nothing. She asked to see everyone's hands. Daniel's hands were clean. Evelyn's nails were painted dark red. Mr. Reed's fingers had ink stains. Mrs. Hale's hands were rough from work. Anna's hands were trembling but clean. No blood under the nails. No scratches. No sign of a struggle. The murder weapon was missing. That was the part nobody could explain. Arthur Bell had been stabbed once, cleanly, with something narrow and sharp. A knife, a letter opener, perhaps even one of his own antique daggers. But nothing was found. Detective Voss searched the study again. Then the hallway. Then the stairs. Nothing. At 10:12 p.m., the lights went out. Everyone gasped. The manor fell into darkness. For a moment, there was only rain and breathing. Then a woman screamed. When the lights returned 30 seconds later, Anna was standing near the fireplace, pale as death. On the floor beside her was a blood-stained letter opener. Daniel jumped to his feet. She had it. Anna stared at the weapon as if it had appeared from another world. No, I didn't touch that. Mr. Reed backed away. It was beside her. Detective Voss picked up the letter opener with a cloth. The blood was real. But the placement was theatrical. Too theatrical. A hidden weapon appearing during a blackout. A frightened suspect standing beside it. It was not evidence. It was a performance. Detective Voss looked at the fireplace. A thin trail of soot marked the edge of the rug. Someone had moved near it in the dark. "Everyone stay exactly where you are," she said. Then she walked to the mantel. Above it was a large bronze clock. It had stopped at 9:15. The same moment the first thunderclap shook the house. Detective Voss stared at the clock, then at the study ceiling above them, then at the faces around the room. "Arthur Bell did not die at 9:30, she said quietly. No one moved. "He died at 9:17, Anna blinked. "But I heard the crash later." "No," said Detective Voss. "You heard something staged to make you go upstairs." Daniel stood. "This is ridiculous." "Sit down," the detective said. He did. Detective Voss turned to Mrs. Hale. "Who knew Anna had the study key?" "Everyone," the housekeeper said. "Who knew she always worked in the library after dinner?" Mrs. Hale lowered her eyes. "Everyone!" "Who knew Arthur Bell would be alone in his study?" No one answered. Detective Voss walked slowly around the table. The killer needed 3 things: access to the study, a way to lock it afterward, and a way to frame Anna. She stopped behind Mr. Reed. "Mr. Reed, you said you took a phone call near the front hall." "Yes." "To whom?" "My office. At 9:10 during a storm?" "Yes." Detective Voss smiled faintly. "Interesting. The phone line went dead at 9:05. I checked." Mr. Reed's face changed. Only for a second, but enough. Daniel stared at him. "What?" Mr. Reed cleared his throat. "I must have been mistaken about the time." "No," said Detective Voss. "You were not mistaken. You lied." He stood up. "I will not be insulted." "Then sit down and stop lying." He froze. The room went silent. Detective Voss continued. "You entered the study before 9:07. Arthur knew you had been stealing from him. He planned to expose you and end your career. You argued. You stabbed him with the letter opener from his desk." "Mr. Reed shook his head. "No, you panicked." Then the thunder struck. The clock stopped. "That gave you the time of death." "No." "You locked the study from outside using a thin wire through the keyhole," Anna whispered. "But the key." "The key was not needed to lock the door, only to open it. Everyone would believe Anna was the only one who could enter. That was the point." "Mr. Reed's lips tightened. Detective Voss looked toward the fireplace. "During the blackout, you dropped the weapon near Anna to complete the frame. That is nonsense." "Is it?" She held up the letter opener. "You wiped it, but you missed one place." She pointed to the decorative groove near the handle. "There is ink there. Not Anna's. Yours." Mr. Reed looked at his fingers. The ink stains. Small. Harmless. Damning! Detective Voss took one step closer. "And the muddy footprint upstairs? Not a child's. The rubber tip from your walking cane. You used the garden ledge to leave the study window after killing Arthur, then returned inside through the side door before anyone noticed." Mrs. Hale gasped. Mr. Reed said nothing. His face had gone gray. Anna began to cry silently. Not from fear this time, from relief. Daniel whispered, "You killed him?" Mr. Reed looked at the floor. Arthur Bell had written murder stories for 30 years, but in the end, His own killer had made one mistake. He had tried too hard to create the perfect suspect. Detective Voss looked at Anna. "You were never the killer, Miss Miles." Anna covered her face. Outside, the rain finally began to stop. And inside Blackwood Manor, the perfect alibi died with the man who invented it.